Alright, hey guys, welcome to Card of Fate area. Today we are going to deck build. We're gonna ignore the fact that I was messing around with the Direful Doll deck. That deck is really fun, I enjoy it. But today we are heading back to Stoicheia because there she is, Lascaria. She is in CFA. So yeah, we're building a Lascaria deck, of course, around the grade 3. Gone over the cards in a different video already, so not really something I'm all concerned about going over again, but if just a brief, let's go over the ride line kind of thing. Grade 0, of course, has the Road Upon ability. Grade 1 has auto when Road Upon by the grade 2 Lascaria. Search your deck for a grade 2 or greater Blitz order that's not the Regalis Blitz order, so the Regalis isn't really searchable, but it's not that big a deal. Put it to hand, shuffle your deck. And then going to the grade 2s, excuse me, make sure the right deck is on so it doesn't confuse itself. Oh yeah, that's funny to me still. Anyways, grade 2, where is she? That's the Blitz order. There she is. When rode upon by grade 3 Lascaria, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 normal unit with Veleno in its card name or up to 1 Blitz order from among them, reveal it, put it to your hand, shuffle your deck. So that immediately, that's Mythiarch, right? This immediately tells me that, you know, you're going to want Blitz orders like this one or the one that she came with, just in general, to really help push the game. We'll get to it. But we're at the grade 3 now. Where is she? She's probably down. There she is. Well, we're going to max out on her, because obviously. Turn off red deck, but her ability, continuous, gains, or give your Veleno cards 5,000 if you have 3 or more, and if you have 5 or more, it does include herself, she also gets a crit. Vanguard circle at the end of the battle, your unit was attacked, and was not hit. If you played a Blitz order, draw a card, and if you did not, countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. So, overall, good ability for resource management. Let's start by talking about triggers, right? So we obviously are going to want to do a couple of different things. She's already got crit pressure, so I think maxing out on 4 of either the front or the draw trigger will be really good. Deciding between fronts and draws is pretty important. I like fronts because they apply additional pressure for offensive, and they also provide defensive pressure as opposed to drawing during my opponent's turn, which I'm already going to be doing with Lascaria Veleno. That's fine. Of course, for these, just to be safe, max out on that. We're going to go 4 heal triggers. I can either go this semi-butterfly sylph kind of girl, or I could go like the deer. I still think this is one of the prettiest cards, but I don't have like SPs of them in person, of course, but that's not something that really matters. I just kind of wish they were higher rarity. Excuse me. And then of course, you know, like decisions on if you want to run the anti-crit one or the anti-multi-attacking one. Completely up to you what meta, what locals you go to. I will just run with 4 regular heals just to be safe. And then we will go 3 of this guy. I have the triple rare shiny ones of him, so I just like him the most. Of course, because it's always an important part of deck making, we gotta talk overtrigger. We can go the standard one. Definitely not. It's pretty bad. Just give 2 units 100 million power. You don't have multiple restanding things that restand after your Vanguard swung, so plus favor. Just do 1 of every effect. It's always a really good one to have. It's solid. You know, this is the other version of Bless Favor. Going to Craze. Oh yeah, that's right, there's like a million different things now. We've got this guy. Choose a card from your drop zone, put it to hand, choose one of your units gets critical. I think the critical pressure is pretty huge in this deck. So this one or Bless Favor probably going to be really good because your Vanguard's already got, what's it called? Already got the, man, my brain's gone, whatever. Already has her own critical. Of course, we already said we're not doing Obaria. Valnout, whatever, I don't remember. I don't know. I think he's strong. Multiple attacks with 100 million are great. As opposed to one that's just a PG check because it has a crit. But he doesn't do anything other than that. Personally, I think I'm gonna go with Bless Favor. The front will make your other rear guard more scary. The crit will make one of your units terrifying. The heal is always nice. The additional draw is poggers. So I just end up typically liking Bless Favor, honestly, anyways. It's a really cool card. Really beautiful art. Going to grade 1s and grabbing our staples. We're going to want 3 perfect guards. Where is the new one? Because obviously it's a bug deck, so we're going to run the bug perfect guard. I think I'm blind, so if you can see them and you just see me scrolling past, don't worry about that. Oh, there they are. Right, so we want 3 of those. Why do you want 3 of them? Because Craze, we have this Elementaria. Obviously, you don't, you want Elementaria, but especially in this deck, since it's a Blitz order, it'll help with the deck's mechanics. Play Elementaria, discard a card, the battle it didn't hit, therefore you draw a card. Are you kidding me? Then while we're here, we're going to find the Veleno card name, grade 1, and just add 4 of it, because you're going to want to max out on Velenos. So, Fiore, she's amazing. Basically doing the staple, what we need, cards, and then going back and working with the last slots that we have. 4 of this is, like, pertinent. If you don't do 4 of it, you're just asking to lose. Yes, you can add them back to hand through roundabout ways, but you won't always be able to guarantee that, so maxing out on this one at the very least, definitely important. Her, right. Veleno Familia Milial. This is the card that will help you recycle your orders, so you want 4 of her anyways. She also has Veleno name. One of the cards I was considering doing was, yeah, I can't even speak. Sea Rumble Brave Shooter. The ability to choose between Counterblast or Energy Blast is huge, but we'll get there when we get to the rest of the deck. Lastly, we have one more Veleno card. It is Arephis. Not much to be said about him. He's just a really beefy swing. Murderoni or a cheese. I think I have too many zeros, do I? Oh, yeah, there we go. So we have 43 out of 54 total, so we have 11 slots left to figure out what to do with. I'm not gonna just sit here and go, no, 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 no. I'm actually gonna do something smart. I'm gonna go through 3, 2, 1 and give my thoughts on things. Of course, noting that most of the deck is like, look for Veleno or grade 2 or greater Blitz orders. Literally, like, so you want to run Blitz orders or Velenos. So we've maxed out on Velenos. We can add, well, no, those don't have Veleno. Cool. Day of training, times of happiness. You know, before her mom died. We'll just go over some of the generic stuff that you might consider. Yeah, so we've got Inlet Pulse, first one, you know, since you have a multi-attacker, would you consider Inlet Pulse? Potentially. It is a soul charge and a draw card. That's it. It won't gain power because it's not a Veleno, and realistically it's just there for drawing cards. That's kind of not that amazing. Just kind of sad to say. Not that I particularly am like, I have to run Inlet Pulse, but more so that I'm like, The days of him being the most important card in the world are, like, past. Could potentially add this for an additional, or for retire on the opponent's board. That would be pretty cool, but meh. You know, if we're in a meta where we really need to, yeah. Don't want an order that just generates tokens. This could be okay, because you have one Veleno of every grade except for 0. Most of the time, players don't have grade 0s unless it's tokens. But it's a pretty hefty cost, so doubtful. This is only good for grade 4s and strides, so don't even think about it. Yeah, there he is. I don't think this is really worth it, because like this chooses Velenos, so you'd have to do something else to get this to be placed from your drop zone, to add a blitz order from your drop zone to hand, so I don't think it's all that good. Definitely probably not worth it in my opinion. No offense intended. I think last two I'll go over are these two. I, again, don't think much of them. Yeah, no. I don't think much of them, personally. This is your opponent chooses a rear guard, and you choose a card and call it. That's free field, but in that case, why aren't you just running something else you could call to field? Yeah, sure, retire. Yippee, so great. Florence. I think this one is one of the bigger potential ones. When attacking, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, gain 5k, and soul charge. And then if you're lucky enough to get not normal units, so like blitz orders and triggers, 15k instead. So she is an 18, potentially 28k attacker, potentially 38k if they hit a damage trigger. That is also a grade 3 with shield when your opponent hits triggers. If you see and guard with your overtrigger, it's there. It's not a bad one. I'll put it here. I want to say it's okay. That's all I can really say about that. I don't think it's gonna be run in the official final deck that I choose, but it's one of the better options so far. I like Stoikea's choice in grade 3s, but I don't think that it's the best nation for grade 3s. It's like, I mean, it's mostly orders that are the good ones in Stoikea that are like splashable and everything outside of Inlet Pulse. Just being honest, you know. Excuse me. If you played a normal order, do an ability. Wow. Dragon Tree restricted, stuff like that. Going to grade 2s, let's start here at the top line. We've got Maple. She's always a really, really good card, especially in a retire heavy meta. I don't think we're in a retire heavy meta. I think we're more so in a kind of like youth Burke meta, and so like she would go to the bottom of the deck and therefore is basically useless. She is also potentially good though. Choosing normal orders, definitely a no. This is a blitz order, but you have to have 3 or more macro rear guards. No. This from hand, Celeste, 2 top 2 guards. Nah, definitely not. When attacks counterblast, bind an order card from your drop zone 5k for each grade of the card bound for this cost. This could be a potential 20k attacker, because our blitz order is grade 2. So that's alright. I don't think it'll be all that good. Like by comparison to Maple, who is just getting free field, I don't think it's worth it. Just being true and honest. If you played a normal order, no. If your rear guard was placed from drop, that does potentially come up when it attacks. If it's a 4th battle or more, that comes up decently often. So it's a 20k attacker as well, but no Veleno card named therefore. Is it really worth it? Skipping over Mushiking, come across one of our better orders. Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose one of your units, it gets power plus 5,000 until end of battle for each order card with a different card name in your drop zone and bind zone in total. So if you are playing this and you literally have no orders, it is Soul Blast 1, draw a card, do nothing else. However, you can search out orders with your ride line. So say you ride your grade 2 on top of your grade 1, search out this guy, then you just have one early game blitz order that you can just play and draw a card with. I don't think that's a bad thing to have at potentially 1 or 2. Again, we'll get there. Skipping. Gather Upon Me, Wandering Souls is always a good card, especially since it just says discard an order card. You can discard a blitz order and gain additional drives. I think that's something we'll come back to, so I'll add 1. Just by the time we get to the end of the deck, we will decide on how value are they, is it really that worth it, and what all does it do for the deck. Choose a unit being attacked, getting 5,000, and bounce a rearguard. We used to play this in Zorga at the early meta. It's not worth it anymore because most like main phase retire has already happened at that point, and your on place abilities are discarding a card from your hand and counterblast to do something pretty solid. It's a good card to bounce, so maybe add 1 potentially, but like, are you really gonna do that just so that way if you're in a game where you would want to multiple use Fiore, is this really what you want? Morpho, she's always gonna be good. She's a part of a blitz order package. 20k attacker on her own if you have a blitz order in your drop zone. Can't really say much else to it. I mean, excuse me, yes, there is more you can say to it. You can say that she does search out blitz orders from your deck. So if you are running one of blitz orders, you can search them out with her. She's going to be good. Not like run at 4 kind of good, but good. Bad. Just get rid of your boost ability. Sorry, idiot. If we were binding order cards, this would be solid. I don't think it's... Actually, no, it's not, because it says being attacked by a rear guard. Definitely not good at all. Not good. Being able to intercept from the back row does nothing. No. Yes, but I would use this one as opposed to this one because I don't like this art as much. It's silly, it's fun, but whatever. No. This one was one I thought about, but I don't think a 20k attacker is that super important by comparison. Free field, 20k attacker that also searches out your orders, especially at the cost of discarding orders. That's always like the worst. Got less soul less plus 5k and boost. Bad. Margaret, potentially good card. More so for the discarding during your ride phase ability. I think that's always a really good one to have, especially in a deck that doesn't particularly soul blast a lot. It will at some point soul blast a good bit, but not so much. And then like being able to turn off intercepts in like the Ava matchup, because yes, Ava is still technically good. All the front row rear guards not standing is pretty good too. No. What is this one? Oh, I forgot about that little guy. He's silly, but no. No, definitely not. This one is a Mythiarch one. I just looked at her. I was like, I don't remember who she is. Mythiarch cards are immediate no-goes. They're all Mythiarch specific. Nectar of Sensationalism. This would be a card that we can come back to later. I think he's great. Excuse me. And he's great in quotation marks. It kind of comes down to, are you really going to get stuff in your drop zone? And if so, how. Um, Mostly guarding in this deck, and you have recurrence from her, so it's something we could look into later, but I don't think will really actually be worth it because we would be having to play a normal order to get 10k to a rear guard. That's alright. It's not the best. This is a no because it has to be placed by card ability. This is free field, but also no because we don't really want to be playing tokens. We want to be playing cards that can get us Veleno. Unition Dress. Nah. Soul Blast 2 for a plus, like, I guess if you have like a full board, plus 25, but nah. Or excuse me, other regards, plus 20. Meh. You don't have a ton of soul charge. You don't bind your stuff, so this one's not that good. Solid, but again, plant tokens. That's retired market. You don't retire. 3 or more order cards in your drop zone and bind zone. Wow. This one could potentially come up, but it's just defensive power, and that's what your orders are for, so you wouldn't want to run this over like more orders. No. Again, like I said, this guy could potentially be good. He's got the makings of a good card, just being honest. Counterblast or Energy Blast 3 is always a good thing because like you're gonna be flipping around with your Counterblast and your energy like all game. Being able to fix cards in your hand by discarding and drawing. Not drawing, discarding and adding a card from your drop zone is really good because you can potentially call him. Excuse me. Call him or guard with him and draw cards or ditch, like, I don't know, you need to kill your opponent this turn, so you ditch trigger from your hand to add the restanding Veleno. Mr. Arifis over here, right? Where'd he go? Oh, he's down here now. So I think he's solid, could really have some solid potential. This is a Blitz order, Counterblast 2, choose an opponent's Vanguard, critical -1. Bad. Why is it bad? It has no shield power. What does that mean? So legally, if you don't have a crit, but your opponent did not guard with any shield, you are still hitting. So, Lascaria Veleno says your battle was not, or your unit was not hit. You draw a card. So legally, Counterblast 2 minus crit, you will still get hit, so you just negate taking damage at best. It'd be different if it was until end of turn, but that's it. That's all I can really say. It's just not that good. It's a Counterblast 2, that's pretty hefty. Magnolia, 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 Magnolia. I don't think this one's specifically Magnolia, but no, other unit attacks from the back row, it's technically specifically Magnolia. Yes, this one we're going to want to run at multiple copies of. It is it's basically the Regalis piece, which we'll get to those later, but it's basically the Regalis piece in Blitz order form, or in the grade 3 Regalis piece in a searchable Blitz order form if you have a Blitz order in your drop zone. If you don't, it's still a solid shield, and it doesn't have the additional effect, but that's fine. Recursion from drop zone for Counterblast Soul Blast, that's okay. I kind of want to discuss something soon. After I get to the end of the grade 2s, I will start knocking off some of these in here and explaining why. I could see a potential for running him to search an order card out of your deck for free, and then like putting it into your drop zone and adding it to hand with Lascaria, or not Lascaria, Veleno, Milial, right? But that won't come up often, so there's no point unless you're wanting to run a budget deck, and he's cheap, so I can see that. Very, like, confusing way to get there, but you can do that. We're just gonna kind of like skim through Sylvan Horn Beasts. 90% of the time they are Magnolia locked, or Sylvan locked, of course Dragon Tree Marker locked, yippee. Retire a unit, one of your rear guards gets plus 10k power. I don't think that's good. Extra power is fine, but you have to basically discard a card to get 10k power. At that point, Untied Line. I think he's also good, but it's also not that good because you want him in your front row to be attacking to gain stuff, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Flagberg, specific tokens. Red deck, face up, grade 3 card, same card name as your Vanguard, discard a card, and then call a card from your drop zone. It's really not that worth it. If your unit stands, plus 5k. If you played a normal order, plus 5k. So it's an 18k attacker, and you have to figure out a way to get orders to work normally in this. Christiana specific. Pretty much Leonord specific. During the turn, if you have another grade 2 or greater unit in the same column, plus 5k, not all that worth it because it's just 10k, or 15k, excuse me. I explained why I dislike Tide. Tide Line Dragon. Tidal Assault is Maelstrom. Meh. It's a 14k, so it's not even hitting perfect numbers. Rotowa. Counter Charge, which you already have, so you don't want to retire your own stuff for more. 20k attacker. So coming down here to the deck, let's start thinning because we're already at 52 and we still have to go through the grade 1s as well as the Regalis pieces. So this guy, looking through, this is your card you're soul blasting for, this is a card you're soul blasting for, and this one. I don't see a huge reason to soul charge because realistically this one's not going to come up nearly as much as this one, so you're not going to run this out as much. Same with this one. I don't see a huge reason to have this, but I don't see a huge reason to get rid of it. Him, you're going to be energy blasting for this order every turn, and you're going to be counter blasting hopefully for him every turn at least once, as well as potentially Morpho, so I don't see a reason to run him, and I will actually just cut him here because this one still has a potential use because Soul Blast, and Soul Blast. Her, she's going to potentially also use up Soul Blast if you have her, and just losing Intercept is not all that good unless you're against a deck, specifically Ava, I guess at this point. But the Ditch Soul Blast bot deck draw is going to be strong. I want to say Maple probably has more use than her, even though like this Counter Blast is going to hurt a little bit, but the Soul Blast draw is huge, as opposed to Maple, who is just guard or ditch early and get her back to field later. I think that's huge, so let's keep Maple. Gather upon me, you wandering souls, triple drive, basically. You don't want your orders in drop zone, so I'll just say it here, no. Him at 1, potentially, I could see, more likely than him at 1, even though this costs a Soul Blast, so I will keep him at 1 and get rid of Ghost Chase. Chase is, like I said, only here for bouncing this or this or this to hand in matchups where your opponent might attack your rear guard. Or you want to reuse these because you only saw the 1 copy, but how would you know when you're searching off of your grade 1 that you only saw 1 copy of these? Most of the time you wouldn't, and you'd have to search it out with Morpho, thus costing more counterblast and wasting more turns. So, not huge. I think that was, yeah, that's all the 1-ofs for now. So then going through the grade 1s, there's a ton to go through, so I'm going to just blast through this fast. This one is a no, potential. Counterblast, it's a search for specifically Sweet Honey Garden, the Blitz order, as well as being a 13k booster is potentially good. Shrooms are always good, so we'll just say maybe. Choose an order card from your drop zone and put it to hand is also really good, because it doesn't say normal or blitz, it just says order. But there's something else that we can get to later. Bad. PG, but we already have RPGs. No. Well, yeah, no, definitely not. Unison Dress, this is no, unless you're focusing on drop zone stuff, in which case why aren't you just running Nectar of Sensationalism? Or Zorga. Um, Potential Soul Charger. Um, Place on by order card's ability. No. 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 Oh yeah, that's choose an order card from your bind zone. That's right. Definitely not. No. 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 It's just a 10k shield. That's all it does. Meh. No. Leonard specific, and when not, it's not that good. This is one of the newer cards that got revealed. If you persona around, so it's turn 4 material. Counterblast 1 among the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose one grade 3 or less card from among them. Oops, excuse me. Call it to rearguard circle. Discard the rest. This unit gets plus 10k until end of turn. It is at best free field and an 18k booster. Solid. It is less defensive than Burp Stinger. I have no idea if I said that right. Burp Stinger. And bigger. So it's more offensive, which is solid because getting more Veleno to board, not bad. The downside is you discard the other 2 cards. Which is, it's a downside, yeah. No, Redline. This is a Soul Charge as well as a 20k shield. As like a Soul Charge 2 plus 5k power, 20k shield. So you would give the 5k power to your Restander. That would be good, potentially. No, no, no. I mean, yes, no, no, no. No, no, no. Again, it's Cristiano specific. No, no, no. No. No, 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 no. Question mark. Oh, that's Diantha. This is a potential yes, but when we get to Diantha. No, unless we're in a retire heavy meta, in which case maybe. No, no, yes, but only if you have room for more orders because you want to search out your Velenos. I feel like you guys can probably hear the train going by, so don't worry about that. No, 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 no. If your Vanguard is boosted to total 3, yeah, definitely no. No, no, no. Excuse me, not no on this one. This one has potential. Soul Blast 1, bind it, choose a Blitz order from your drop zone, put it to hand. That's pretty dang good. I honestly like it. It might be too much Soul Blast, but being able to add more orders from drop zone to hand is good. And as well as that would help you have another booster. So potentially, no. This one has a very, 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 very niche situation where it soul charges and counter charges if you have her and 2 of Araphis. Therefore, no. Potentially good, same reason as the other Maple, but this time it has to come out on a Persona Ride turn. Diantha also has potentially good situations where you can get more Veleno to field. This order also has a potentially good situation. You can search it out with Morpho. Of course, if you do, it's a Counterblast 2, and then you're basically giving up on all restanding abilities that turn. Goodbye Araphis, question mark. But in a pinch, if you really, really, really need the Blitz orders, it would be really good. No, 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 no. Maybe. So this one says bind an order card, or when it hits Vanguard, no cost, bind an order from your drop zone, choose an order card from your drop zone, put it to hand. Doesn't specify Blitz or no, but I would still say that binding an order from your drop zone to add an order from your drop zone is not enough to actually warrant being better than Lexi, who is just add one. Well, I mean, I guess he does stay on field, which is his own upside, whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't think of using him over her. No. 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 I forgot how specific this guy was because he's... I've never really seen use with him, like, ever. No, 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 no. unless you just want to look at this card art while playing. No. It's just an 18k booster. That's pretty much it. No. 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 Or, excuse me. Yeah, Flagberg specific. Definitely no. No, you don't really have the extra cards to call him over. Pretty much only good in, like, plant token decks. We already have PGs. No. 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 Oh yeah, that's what she does. Definitely no. Yes. No. 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 And no. So looking at our deck, we've got some decisions to make. I wish I could just make this be bigger, and then we could just like click around. Excuse me. So, let's start with a couple of the things that would be similar. These two are Soul Charge. This one is a freer cost because if you're Soul Blasting, your cards, your grade 0, 1, and 2 will already be in your drop zone, therefore you just put them back. This one mills your deck and potentially kills you faster, and could easily lose you the, not easily, but potentially lose you the Over Trigger, or Elementaria, you know, your 1-0s that you don't want to lose. I honestly want to say I'd get rid of this. It's also a bigger shield and a less problematic shield. And if you're soul charging 2 for calling it to field, that's pretty much all the soul you'll really ever need, so at the very least a 1-of him would be good. What else is similar? Diantha, I guess him, kind of, and her in the way that they are back row rear guards to be used. I guess Lexi doesn't really have much in terms of versus her or him, but I think you're using too much counterblast to really use him, so I would choose her over him. Maple is free field. This is semi-free field. This is semi-free field, but it's very specific. When placed from hand versus act ability, she's bigger and she is a little specific for gaining power. I like her, but I also hate the losing technically 3 cards from the top of your deck and having to choose a card from the top of your deck as opposed to choosing a card from your drop zone. So she loses out to Diantha. Him versus Morpho, you're always going to choose Morpho. She's way bigger as a rear guard. Granted, he gets to boost and she doesn't, but she's a 20k attacker on her own, no Persona Ride, no boost, and then can search out any grade 2 or greater Blitz order. Which in this case we are running 1, 2, 3 different types of Blitz orders, so yeah, I would choose her over him any day. Now you can see we've got 4 slots open already, so we can look into what we would potentially do. I'm going to want more Honey Garden, like 2 more, and then just have 4 of this, 3 of this, 1 of that, and that's all my Blitz orders. 8 Blitz orders is not a bad number. It's enough that you will see them decently often off of her. You'll definitely see them off of her, and if you're using Morpho, you will absolutely see them. So we've got recursion from drop zone with her, as well as potentially Lexi. If we end up running her, we'll get there. Better recursion from drop zone in Diantha, but she doesn't recur orders from drop zone. I think being able to, this says specifically from hand, no it doesn't, when placed other than during your battle phase. Okay, I think because she can get them from your drop zone to hand, and Diantha can get any card from your drop zone to field, cutting her and just using Diantha with her would be a solid combo. That being said, I think we're at the point where we're just kind of like, Maple's not really going to do anything unless she's only at 1, and in that case you won't see her much, so I'm just going to get rid of Maple. So I've got 1 Soul Charge plus power, 1 Searcher. I'm going to add it up to 2 just immediately. It won't come up every game, but it could come up decently often. So then we've got 4 of her, and then if you look at this deck, we've got front row rear guard, front row rear guard, front row rear guard, back row rear guard, back row rear guard, back row rear guard, which is a nice combination. Add 2 of these so that we've got 3 of them, and then we can just add a second one of these and see how this plays. I will try this. Lard. Lascaria. And all of these decks I'll be playing against my good friend tonight, so let's go to the game room. And take this, shuffle a couple times. Let's say we're going to be heads and tails. So we're going second. That's all we really need to know. Excuse me. I will do 2 kind of, how to say, test game things. It sounds really weird, but that's just how it's gonna work, I guess. So 5 to start with. Right, so see here, looking at our first hand, we've got 1 Melial, we want to keep her, one of the good blitz order, we want to keep it. Morpho, who is always good in the early game, we'll keep that. Eriphus, who's good late game, and Sweet Honey Garden, who's good later in the game. So we're going to bot deck these to look for the grade 1, the Persona Ride, and potentially Diantha. So 1, 2, we got none, but that's fine. We've got a potential discard or discard in one of these 2, but I think I would rather keep her for the early game. So let's say they do their turn, it's our turn. Start our turn. Sweet, got a blitz order that's not really all that good until later in the game. We're just going to get rid of it and ride this. We're going second, so Energy Crest, get 3 immediately. We went second as well, so we draw a card. And one important thing to note of why I did this is because now she can swing for 20k turn 2 and then search me out an order. My opponent doesn't know that, but I know that. So we'll just go to battle phase. I don't really have any grade 1s that I want to call this turn, so I won't. Swing, drive check, front trigger. Sweet. We are already doing well on what we have for guard material. End turn, take a damage, front trigger. Let's say they had another regard because they're grade 2. Would we guard it? Would we take it? They're going first. It's assumed they're going to hit us pretty hard. We are at 18. Let's say they swing for 23, so I can't really just drop this. I'll just guard with that. Or 25, or whatever. Now it's our turn, stand and draw. So we got Melial again. She is one of the best recursion cards, and I have 1 over here, 1 in my hand. Eriphus is going to be a good later in the game card, so I will ditch him to ride the grade 2. Grade 1's ability gets to go off. Search the deck for grade 2 or greater blitz order. I will grab another one of her. This card is just so invaluable. It's like actually crazy. So then we will call not Maple, Morpho, who we know is going to be a 20k attacker. So we're going to start battle phase, swing with Vanguard, 10,000, drive trigger, no check, or no drive check, no trigger, excuse me. But we do have a Persona Ride for later. So we're going to swing, use her ability, Soul Blast 1, plus 10k power. That's just because we have a Blitz order in our drop zone. If we were in a bad situation with our orders that we have in hand, we could search out an order right now, or we can leave her on field and do something with that. However, I'm going to be the cheeky little guy that counterblasts 1, binds her end of battle to search deck for an order. I already have a Blitz order in my drop zone, so this one could be a draw and 5k shield. This could be a 25k shield, or I could get out 1 more of the Energy Blast 1. However, 25k shield, because my opponent's going first, is probably going to be better. Well, in my turn, I'll just start going through a normal turn. Let's say they're going to get 3 attacks because they're restricted. It's going to be like Vanguard, Rearguard, Rearguard. We'll no guard the Vanguard. They get a crit, so critical on power here. Damage 1, damage 2. Unfortunate. Goodbye, Elementaria. This Rearguard, we will Energy Blast. Oh, excuse me. Energy Blast 2 to be. Oh, that's literally the wrong. To be a big order. And then we'll guard with this for the other one. So then stand and draw. For this turn, I think we'll ditch. There's a good couple things we can ditch, but we don't want to ditch this. This is a good shield. This is a good shield. It's also good for potentially later. So I'm between on these two, honestly, right now. Not getting rid of this, not getting rid of this. I think I will get rid of Elmadar to ride this. Skill of the grade 2, we are going to search the top 5 cards in my deck for 1 Blitz Order or 1 Veleno card. And so you can see right here, already looking like I don't have any grade 1s in my anywhere. So looking back at these top 5, we can go for the defensive option or we can go for Melial. Of course I will add Melial to hand. Let me see, does she add to hand? Adds to hand, okay, cool. I will add Melial to hand because then I can call Melial, discard Melial, and call this bad boy to field. So if you notice immediately, the hand size is now down to 5. We're not doing too super hot, but all of our Lascarias are going to get 5,000 power. And we can go to the battle phase. We don't have too much else we can do this turn. Swing for 18. Excuse me. Swing with our Vanguard for 18. Drive check 1, drive check 2. We hit a trigger, so we will power here, critical here. Using his ability, we will counterblast 1, stand him, he'll gain 5k power. And these are basically the same guard material now. This one has 2 crit, swing first. This one has no crit, swing at the rear guard potentially. End my turn. So then this is where the deck, I think, personally shines. Grade 3 and onward, with Blitz Orders in your hand, stuff like that. Take A damage. We will guard with this first Blitz Order. Let's say it was a 33k attack, so I will also intercept with Melial. Because it did not hit, I will countercharge and draw a card, plussing during the opponent's turn. They swing with another unit, guard with this, Soul Blast 1. This is now, 25,000 power for the battle? So, boom, we are straight up to 38k. That's a huge guard. And then again, we'll reduce the 25,000 because it was just for the battle. Excuse me. Because of that, we then get to draw a card again, because the drawing a card is not once per turn, just the counter charges. So we draw another card. Would you look at that? More shield value. So then we guard the last attack like this, and then they pass turn. Stand and draw. We've got another Orifice. We've got Lascaria. We can Persona Ride. Kinda was hoping to get a grade 1 at this point, but it's okay. So we've got a couple things we can do. We've got some open counterblast. I think what we will do is call Melial to discard a Melial. And this is part of why I wish the ride line had Lascaria in hand. I will add the Blitz Order to hand. And then 5,000 power to my front row. Actually, no, wait, I called it to the back row because I was going to call him as well and get some multi-attack. Now you see we're in a situation, we have 4. We wish we had 5 because then the Vanguard would have an additional crit, but we can't really do too much about it because we're just sad little guys. If we had the grade 1, or if we saw the grade 1 early, maybe I need to mill harder to see the grade 1 early, but we'll do that next time. We'll just go through this battle phase and then we'll do another game. Swing 28, swing 28, swing 28, drive check 1, there's the grade 1, drive check 2, there's a perfect guard. So then we can choose to, what was that counterblast for? Then we can choose to counterblast 2, restand both of them, and then give them both 5k, or only do 1. 33, 33, it's not horrible numbers, but we're in a good spot where we can PG, we can Energy Blast, draw card once, excuse me, because we only have the 1 order, but you know, we're not in a bad spot to end that turn. Let's go back in, do 1 more. So that grade 1 honestly is like my favorite part of the deck. Let's say this time we're going first. Sweet, we are winning. Even if I didn't have just her in hand, I would be bot decking all of these triggers because we want the orders in hand. So, ditch 4. Sweet. This is an amazing starting hand. This is one of the best cards to use Counterblast on in the entire game, just by the way. So, make sure to shuffle, start our turn, stand and draw. I will actually get rid of one because we have Melial and we can look for her later. To ride this, get the energy crest. Since I'm going first, I don't get any energy. I will just pass turn. We'll take a single damage and then take the turn back. Let's say they only swim with their grade 1 Vanguard. Stand and draw. This is the smallest shield that isn't Fiore in my hand, so I will ditch that. Ride this, search deck for a Blitz Order. I already have 2 of these, so I'm honestly inclined to grab Sweet Honey Garden. 2-hand shuffle. Like this thing is huge, so you guard with this, it goes to drop zone, and you have this guy, and now it's bigger. So then we will call Fiore here. Use her ability, Counterblast 1, because I have a Lascaria, Vanguard. Top 5 cards for a Veleno or a Blitz Order. And put it to hand, shuffle the deck. Right? 5 cards, Veleno, his name, add it to hand or put the bot deck. Or, add them to hand, period. So then you can look, got Eriphis or Melial. So if we call Melial, since we're not battle phase, we could use her ability to discard and add this to hand, or excuse me, to field. Yeah, I don't think I really plan on doing that, but this, I have a Lascaria Vanguard, gains 2k power, so we are eating. This is just as big as Morpho, costs as much, got us more field legally because we can intercept with this, and we have this later for reasons, wink. Swing with Vanguard, drive check, Melial, swing over here, 20k, you know, normal stuff. Pass turn. Take a damage, they went, you know, they're doing their thing, so, honestly, at this point, I would be inclined to take a second damage if they were to swing at the Vanguard with a second card. I wouldn't really care too super much because I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna die. And stand and draw for turn. We have Diantha, but we already have a Melial as well as a Fiore, so I'm gonna ditch Diantha. Ride this, search the top 5. And in this case, we have Melial in hand and 3 Blitz Orders, so I will grab the Melial to hand. Which is perfect for, you know, reasons. Call Melial to ditch this, to call this. So we have 5 on field. This does not have to be placed from hand or anything, so we will counterblast the Blitz Order specifically because we can get it back. Check top 5 and add a Blitz Order to hand. Shuffle deck. So now we've got 2 things going on. These guys will both have their 2k power, and Lascaria will give everyone 5k because I only have Veleno units. I'll be honest, I think that the Vanguard actually probably would deserve the boost more than Melial. Not that Melial's like super huge or super small, but 15k at my opponent's grade 2 will be fine. So in this case, I can't get the additional crit because my opponent's Vanguard is not grade 3 or greater. I will, however, get the 5k to whole field. This is a big board, big damage, so swing for 15, you know, that's just like a 10k shield for them. Hitting perfect numbers. Swing, excuse me, I'm not in battle phase. Swing for a whopping 33k on the opponent's grade 2. I don't get multi-attack, so check 1, power to rear guard, and at this point I would assume I'm probably at more since I took the extra damage, or at equal. And then check 2, Diantha, sweet. So we get to swing, because of trigger it's 40, if there was no trigger it'd be 30, that's still pretty dang big. End our turn. We will take a damage, and that would have been nice to see in the game. Let's say we intercept and energy blast 2, because we did counter charge draw. Instead of playing another one of these, let's say this time, because we've got 1 order in there, yeah. Let's say we guard with this as well as this. Soul Blast 1 for his ability, he'll be a 5k shield and draw. And then because end of battle it wasn't hit, draw another card. You can see how very quickly, very easily, you can start racking up hand to be able to guard. We'll guard with that, and let's say Diantha this time. Let's say they have one more attack and they just hit Melial, or they'll attack Melial. Honestly, I hate saying it, it's worth guarding for Melial because she's a Veleno card name, and if I don't have a way of getting cards back, then why wouldn't I keep her? So stand and draw. You can see no more like additional Veleno card names outside of Eriphis. So we call him, and then there's literally nothing else we can do because all of these are on place, which is why I think Diantha is pretty big. So these guys will gain 2k, and then all my units will gain 5k, and then my Vanguard will gain a crit during my main phase, or rather, just continuously, excuse me. And so we go into the battle phase. We can swing for 18,000. Crazy, right? What a massive number. Who'd have thought? Then we'll swing for 33,000 with a crit, drive check, and second check. You know, like, it's weird to feel like you have no shield in hand because you only have triggers or only have orders, but it's not something that you're really concerned about here. I will counterblast this Melial because calling a Melial off of Melial to do Melial things, or excuse me, not Melial. Oh, maybe I did do that earlier. I don't know. Either way, she's good. Counterblast, restand, 5k. He's a 23k attacker on his own, so he'll be the smaller one, 23k, and then swing for 30k. Hit some solid damage numbers. So in phase, let's see what happens. Let's say I take a damage. Guard with this, energy blast 2, counter charge, draw. Guard with the second one, energy blast 2. Because it didn't hit, let's say this time I also dropped an intercept on that one. I'm pretty sure it works, like you can do 2 of those and then stack a third one on top of it, because the way it's worded says, choosing it being attacked 20k until end of battle, you may play one or more blitz order this turn. And then he says, when you play this card, the number you can play increases, so I'm pretty certain you can just chain them into each other. Lastly, let's use this to take the grade 1, put it back to ride deck, as well as the grade 0, put it back to ride deck, and gain 15k extra shield. So, ta-da, we survived. Stand and draw a card. And as you can see, now we go into this turn, we literally just call that. These guys gain their 2k, everything gains 5k, and battle phase. If we were really feeling like we had to kill this turn, instead of just going into battle phase, I would call this, use its ability a second time. No, I can't because I didn't ride, so I would just call it, I guess. Maybe I wouldn't even bother. Battle phase, 18, 18. Swing, I mean, she's got her critical. Check 1, power here, check 2. I mean, let's say they block the Vanguard, critical here. Counterblast 2, restand 2, gain 5k, gain 5k. Swing, this is 38, or 40, yeah, 38, and then this is 33. The deck hits a good, consistent amount of numbers. Hits pretty dang hard, too. I really like it. How do I go to Cray Elementals? So Cray Elementals, this is one of the last things to consider, is running a, excuse me, Regalis. So there's a couple different things you could consider doing. Just be aware you'd probably be cutting down a Diantha for this. So like in this situation, I would cut out 1 Diantha, so I have 2 for extra recursion. Just because I want to make sure I have boosters for my grade 2 and grade 3 Veleno. You could go for Persona Ride, you can go for Forbidal to specifically search out Eriphis, because realistically you're not going to search out anything else. You could do this, but it's 25k shield. I kind of wish it was 35k shield, because then it would at least be better than Sweet Honey Garden, just like as a shield in general. This won't come up too often. Like the second ability really doesn't come up because it's your one of versus your opponent's one of on their drive check. And then there is Bracing Angel Ladder, which I personally would use. I think being against Youthberg, being against what's it called? Youthberg, Gandiva, any sort of Shiranui, Luard even has some retire. They all have some form of retire, so that's why I was like Diantha and Melial are super important. But this would also just make it so that you don't even have to bother doing that. So, anyways, I think they are all good to use. There's a ton of different options for this deck, as you can see by the deck building part of this video. And lastly, and most importantly, you're not restricted to play what I'm playing. This card barely came up, but it's plussing during the opponent's turn, and realistically will be like maximum 10k shield because you have these two blitz orders, but potentially 15 if you use an Elementaria. So there's a ton of different ways you can play this deck, but the attack pattern can get pretty generic. Swing with Restander, swing with Vanguard, swing Restanders, restand, and swing again. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing, because having things to do during your opponent's turn is huge for me. I think that's like one of the things that I felt like was missing from D series, which is why I really liked the Direful Doll Android guy. Not that I think I'm not gonna build him, but more so that Lascaria is absolutely going to take priority. She is a bug. She is everything I've ever wanted in D series in a bug. She's got herself as the ride line, which is just like artist heaven. Like I said, it's just all sorts of additional references to her, a blitz order with her, so it feels like a glitter deck too, where you just got like the couple support cards that aren't. Aerithis would be the Obscudade, of course, and then you just got like a ton of art of the unit you want. Along with it, in set 1 we're getting this PG, which is a bug girl as well. Let's go! So I'm winning. I'm so happy. This deck is going to be aesthetically everything I want. Diantha isn't a bug, but do I care? No, because the rest of the deck is a bug. Not a bug, but it's got little grippers, that's fine. This thing's just honestly rad. I think he's really cool. Sweet Honey Garden, all bugs. And like, I mean, I just love it so much. Anyways, I think the only thing that could make this deck better is getting more triggers that are like bugs. Which I'm not like, OMG, I need that, because triggers are triggers. Not gonna switch out effect triggers for non-effect triggers. Unless it really needs to. There's already a bug front, but why would you run the bug front when you have Frenzied Heiress? Period. End of story. That's all I really have to say. I like building decks. I like building this deck specifically. I think it is awesome. It is really cool. It is fun to play. Catch me existing around, testing this deck, playing with some of my friends, recording some matches, and posting them to YouTube before it comes out. Thanks for swinging by, and hopefully I'll be able to post more. Work's been crazy, and it keeps you away from what you want to do in life, but maybe we're at a balanced enough state. Thanks for watching. Bye.